That's my baby girl right there. Ooh, she with her friends. I'm a dog, I ain't shit. I'ma wind up hitting her friends. Bad guy, outlaw. Ooh, I'm like Pac, but I ain't die after the second time I got shot.
Hola, hola. This is your boy Tico, Trent, and I'm gonna talk about the problem with relationships today. This one's going to be about lust versus love, and what I mean by that is, on average, more likely, a man will always love a woman, whereas on average, a woman would always lust after men. That's typically how that works. That's typically the general dynamics when it comes down to it on the whole entire topic for the most part. And what I mean by that is, and they've even done studies on this where they've actually shown if a man is content and fulfilled in his relationship, he's actually less likely to cheat, even if a woman is quote unquote fulfilled or content in her relationship. Because at the end of the day, what's content for a man is not content what's content for a woman. And typically women tend to fall out of love with their significant others about a year or two in, for the most part. Especially if you're married, that's pretty much gone. And the sad part of what I mean by that is, even like in long-term relationships where like she's pretty much rode the cock carousel, or she's pretty much been messing around with multiple partners, she's more likely to cheat on you in the beginning of your relationship, the middle of your relationship, the end of your relationship, for the most part. And typically what I mean by that is there's a difference between cheating and getting away with it and not cheating at all, for the most part. There's a big difference. And women will always try to equate those two, like, well, I've never cheated a day in my life. Well, no, you've never cheated and your man caught you, for the most part. That's pretty much what that is. You've never been caught cheating. There's a big difference between you don't cheat and you've never been caught cheating. And this is typically a lot of the stuff that goes on in relationships where women try to conflate, like, the fact that they didn't get caught with they've never cheated. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to tell you that they cheated unless they get busted. Women aren't going to tell you something unless they're put on the spot to actually have to tell you something, for the most part. And a lot of shit have to flash. It basically be like no different if your life flashed in front of your eyes. That's typically what happens to women. Their way of life flashed in front of their eyes. For the most part. Their whole entire way of life flashed in front of their eyes. So, typically, a woman's going to say something to basically get herself out of trouble as much as humanly possible. And the sad part about that is women are never going to tell the whole truth. Or women are never going to tell, like, the complete truth when it comes to something. They'll half-ass it and just make it sound like it's the truth. Or to come up with some elaborate scheme to actually lie about, what happened to them for, this miraculous thing like a pregnancy to pop up, especially if y'all haven't had sex in the last 5-6 months. Is typically how it works. So, and the thing about that is, at the end of the day, a woman's more likely to cheat on a man, even if she's quote-unquote fake fulfilled in a relationship. She's more likely to cheat on you. Whereas if a man's actually content and fulfilled in a relationship, he's less likely to cheat on you. Which actually blows the whole entire rhetoric of men cheat, or men are dogs, or men are this, for the most part. The problem with that is, the men that you're speaking of are only, about 10% of the men in a whole entire population. So, as I always say to women, if you stop passing around the same 10 men, you wouldn't run into this problem. Is what I usually always say when it comes to that. Because at the end of the day, a man's love is unconditional until you fuck him over. A woman's love is conditional on as long as she can benefit from a relationship. That's typically how that works. Which ends up being lust. That's all it really is. So a woman's love is basically lust for the reason that she's only in love with somebody as long as she can benefit from that relationship. That's typically how it works. A man loves unconditionally up until you fuck him over. then you get these men that, women are complaining about, that's just pumping and dumping people, or, just going through the motions when it comes to stuff like that. So at the end of the day, a man loves, a woman lust. Because you can't say you love somebody, but then cheat on somebody, but then want them to take you back, but then turn around and say it's his fault why it happened. Really? That's the excuse we're using? Because in all technicality, if we're going to use that as an excuse or defense, your man should have technically cheated on you because you weren't providing him to meet his needs. But the sad part about that is we don't talk about that. We just blame the man for her cheating, when in fact he had every opportunity to cheat because he's not fulfilled and he's not content in his relationship, but he doesn't cheat. You see what I'm saying? But women can get away with it by saying it's your fault, when in fact no. I believe you're the reason why we didn't have sex. So therefore, if I would have cheated, it'd have been my fault. If you cheat, it's my fault somehow, some way, because you cheated. That's not how this works. Because at the end of the day, what a lot of men have to realize is, if you're not getting sex from your partner, somebody else is getting sex from your partner. It's just facts. I don't give a damn how long y'all been in a relationship. If you're not getting regular sex from your partner, somebody else is getting that regular sex from your partner. It's that simple. So, don't fall for the hype. Don't fall for the bullshit. And pay attention to shit, for the most part. And then on top of that, here's a lot of the times where, pregnancies pop up. Conveniently, when y'all haven't had sex in a while. And that's typically how that works. Like, it doesn't work like that. I'm going to need you to chill out and sort yourself out and better yourself as a human being. But I digress.